Welcome to Shift Online, everybody. Wherever you're streaming from, we hope you're having a fun, relaxing, and nice holiday weekend. If this is your first time joining us, we're so excited that you're here. You can scan this QR code, fill out the Connect card, and we'll send you a free Starbucks gift card this week. Small groups are kicking off in 1 week. You can sign up by scanning the QR code. Small groups are kicking off in 1 week. You can sign up by scanning the QR code, scroll down to small groups, click the link, and check all the groups that you're interested in. We have 2 study groups, a tabletop games group, and a dinner group. A leader will contact you once you finish the form. September is our birthday month. 1 year ago this month, we relaunched Shift, moved spaces, and really leaned into being a church for the rest of us. On the 25th, we will celebrate all that's happened. We'll have a small all-family service, no treehouse. Then on to the party. Games, music, food, you bring the sides, we got everything else. And make sure those kiddos bring swimwear for our water slide bounce house. It all starts at 10:30. That's all I've got for you guys this weekend. Now on to week 1 of our new series, A Hard Pill to Swallow.
Welcome to Shift Online, everybody. I hope that you are having a great, fun, relaxing, restful, rejuvenating, all the things, holiday weekend. Today on our online service, we are going to be kicking off a brand new series that we've called Hard Pills to Swallow. And not because they're some theological issues that are hard to swallow, but simply because they're things that we typically have a hard time doing, right? So like this week, we're going to be taking a look at Sabbath, rest. And next week, we're going to be looking at repentance. What does that really mean? And then the third and final week, our own Christy Lewandowski is going to be sharing her story and the topic of mental health. And so make sure that you're here for that one. That one's awesome. And this stream is being filmed before our home opener of the Gators against against Utah. So bear with me for a second. How about them Gators? What an amazing game, right? Number 7 Utah, they totally showed up. New coach, new system. Who would have thought? Man, it was a really good game, right? I mean, new coach, new system. Nobody really gave us a chance, but boy, we hung in there, right? It's a good start to a new season. We got to give this coach some time. I really think that he can turn things around for us. So either way, our lives will continue to go on, won't they? Today, we want to look at this idea of Sabbath. And as I was kind of thinking through this in my own life, I am not a guy that likes to sit around a ton. I'm up and ready to go. My alarm goes off at 5:30 and I'm out the door pretty quick. I will crash every now and then, but to honestly just completely unplug. I don't get to do it often. I'm kind of a busy guy. I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a big deal. My office smells of rich mahogany, and I have many leather-bound books. That's for, if you know, you know. But for real, I just don't like to turn off that much. But when I do live like that, my body will inevitably do it for me. And I don't get sick a ton, but when I do, it is like a gut punch. I am down for days. And it's funny because I see that my kids have kind of inherited that a little bit. Not my son. He's 13. He has no problem doing nothing. But my daughter is go, go, go. And she will do that to the point where she'll get pretty severe migraines. And it's unfortunate. But I'm hardly alone in that, right? I can't just be the only one to take blame for that, because being busy and working and going and doing is just almost hardwired into us as Americans. And it starts early on with things like sports, right? You've got to outwork and outtrain your opponent. And there used to be shirts, I haven't seen them in a while. They're probably still there. But I can remember seeing people in shirts. I probably had some that said things like, while you're sleeping, your opponent is out there outworking you, out training. And so you had to put in the hard work outside of the hours of practice if you wanted to be the best. And that might be true, right? There might be truth to that. But I think the better question that we have to really look into and looking at the larger culture is, what is the fruit of that attitude? How many of us feel like we're on edge all the time? How many of us are experiencing burnout? And how many of us are just literally living for the weekend, right? Like I can't see you, but everybody's hand better be raised on that one. See, life is rhythm. One of my favorite authors and pastor, Brian Zahn, he puts it like this. He says, life is rhythm, the daily rhythm of sunrise and sunset, the seasonal rhythm of winter, spring, summer, fall, the lunar rhythm seen in the cycles of the moon. When we consider the human body, we can say life is rhythm, the steady rhythm of breathing, the syncopated rhythm of the heart, the many rhythms of a healthy body. And when your body is out of rhythm, you are sick. If the rhythm is not restored, you are dead. Art is rhythm. Dance is rhythm. Poetry is rhythm. Music is rhythm. If string theory is right, the entire physical universe is rhythm. And if that's the case, then I think that the reality is that we have lost our rhythm. It's as if the entire modern world is built around designed to destroy those rhythms. We go from home to work, from work to home, then to bed, and then we wash, rinse, and repeat, right? Or you might be going from home to school, from school to bed, and then just to get up and do it all over again. And if you throw in kids into that scenario, my guess is that there's probably some sort of hobby or sports that involves you driving to that thing and then back and forth and back and forth. And if you're blessed with multiple kids, then it becomes multiple things of back and forth and back and forth. Think about it like this. Our entire culture has jet lag. The entire culture of the U.S. has jet lag. Now, jet lag isn't just fatigue. If you've ever experienced that, you go from like one time zone to another. Even just this past summer, I got to fly back home to do a wedding. Home is Missouri. And we go from the Eastern time zone to the Central time zone. And it's not serious jet lag or anything, but it's different. Like you can feel the difference, right? So jet lag isn't just fatigue. Jet lag is going so fast that you get out of rhythm with your own body and the world around you. Think about that. You go so fast that you get out of rhythm with your body's rhythm. How insane is that concept, right? So if our entire culture, including the modern church culture, and many of you are experiencing that right now, is in jet lag, how do we stop moving so fast? How do we just take a breath and slow down? Now, this is a passage that we walked through before, but I think that there's a lot of wisdom in here, and we can unpack this for months if we wanted to. But listen to this invitation of Jesus. It's found in Matthew's account. It's in chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. And it says, Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." He says, I will give you rest. And that word rest in the Greek is anapoio. Anapoio, okay? It's a verb, which is funny because we're talking about rest, but the rest that he gives us is a verb, and it means to cause one to cease from any movement or labor in order to recover and gain strength, to give rest and to refresh. But here's my favorite part of this definition. It's this next part. It means to keep quiet, of calm and patient expectation. And I love that idea. It's the idea of Sabbath, which is an ancient idea. It goes all the way back to the creation poem, the creation accounts of Genesis 1 and 2. And in that creation poem in Genesis 1, we see God resting, right? On the seventh day, God rested. The wisdom that I think that we can pull out of what Jesus just said, but also pointing us back to the Sabbath of the very beginning, is that from the functional creation of our universe, Sabbath has been a part of its natural rhythm. From ancient times, from eons ago, all the way to today, that wisdom still holds deep significance for us. And maybe right now, a deeper significance than any other point in our lifetime, right? Now, let's be really honest about rest, okay? What looks like rest for me won't look like rest for you. I think that many people know this about me, but do you know what kind of music that I love to have on to help me unwind, right? It's metal. I love heavy metal, all right? Hard rock, heavy metal, it puts me in such a good mood. If I am cranky, all I have to do is turn on some good driving hard rock, some heavy metal, and give me 10 minutes, and I'm feeling so much better about myself. And there is so much good music out there right now. I could do an entire talk on all the good music that's out there right now, but I won't do that. I'll spare you. I love heavy metal and hard rock so much that if there's a project around the house that needs to get done, like putting something together, I hate IKEA, people. I hate it. I hate putting stuff together. It is a deep, I hate doing that. But if you want to keep me happy, just turn on some heavy metal or hard rock, leave me be, and I am snug as a bug, right? I'm good to go. But heavy metal and hard rock, my wife, she hates it. Absolutely hates it. She hates it so much. The music actually causes anxiety in her. It will trigger a panic attack if we just she can't listen to it. So, I love metal. She doesn't. That's a lot of fun. For her, it's a lot of country music and stuff. So that's great. I'm kidding. I love some of the country music, just not most of it. But the reality is that for me, rest won't look like what is rest for you. It won't be the same as yours. It's not the same as my spouse, and it won't be the same as you, and yours won't be the same as your friends or your families or your partner, spouses, or somebody else. Our rest doesn't have to look the same. All right. Our Sabbath doesn't have to look the same. I think some questions that you can ask are these: what recharges you? Where recharges you? Right? It could be a place. It could be a setting. Who recharges you? You could Sabbath with other people. It could be sleeping in on a Saturday. That could be part of your Sabbath routine. It could be a workout. It could be football. It's football season. That's going to be part of my Sabbath. It could be any number of things or places or people. It's just, I think that one of the things that we have to do in our day and age with all of the jet lag that we're experiencing is that we have to make Sabbath a priority. Schedule it on your calendars if you have to, but make it a priority. And now I want to read those words of Jesus again, but this time I want to read them from the Message version. It says this: "Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I will show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly." And I love how Eugene Peterson is the author of the Message version. And I think that might be one of the best parts of that version. Our age... Hold that passage in your mind for a second. Our age is one of conflict, right? Our age is one of constant knowing and responding. There's always something it's one of constantly fighting, and those fights go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, until they blur into one continual struggle, and it feels like there's no end in sight. Does that resonate with anybody else? Because it does with me. And sometimes learning to Sabbath, learning the unforced rhythms of grace, that takes longer than just a day, right? It takes longer than just unplugging for one day. Sometimes Sabbath is a season of learning. And I'm not talking about taking a vacation, okay? Because our vacations often leave us feeling more worn out than before. I'm talking about learning to live life differently, right? entering into that continual Sabbath with Jesus. He says, walk with me, work with me, right? It's not just laying around all day. It's this expectation. It's this sacredness that we're entering into, and learning how to enter into that sacred rest. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It is sacred. It is sacred every day. Now, maybe it's creating a new rhythm. If life is rhythm, maybe we need to learn to create a new rhythm. Maybe you start your days differently, or maybe it's the same start with a new mindfulness, right? I think everybody is well aware that I have been a trainer for years on the side, and I have had, I don't know how many people join me at a 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. class to start their day and with a workout. So maybe you continue to do that workout, but you do so with a new mindfulness, all right? Take a moment, instead of just jumping into the workout, maybe you just take a moment to appreciate what your body does for you, right? Be thankful that you're able to perform the movements that you're getting ready to do. Be aware, stop and be aware of how your lungs, how that air moves in and out of your lungs. Pay attention to how your heart takes that oxygenated blood and then disperses it to all of the parts of your body. All of those things in harmony to produce that workout. Or maybe you're like the vast majority of people, and working out isn't how you start your day. Maybe you start your day with a nice hot cup of coffee and you read something. So maybe you keep that, but maybe you're more mindful of it. What are you reading? Are you turning on your phone? Are you jumping into social media right away? Which, I don't know about you, but if I jump into social media right away, it's not going to be the best start. What are you reading? Are you reading things? Maybe you just change what you read. Maybe you don't jump into the news of the day. Maybe you don't check your emails. Maybe you don't get on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or whatever it is. Maybe instead you're going to take that time and that hot cup of coffee and whatever it is that you're going to eat, and you're going to read something that inspires you. Maybe it's scripture, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else. I would challenge you to start your day with that kind of mindfulness. Learning to live in that unforced rhythm of grace, of Sabbath, won't happen overnight. It's not going to be one day and like, oh, I've got it, I know how to do it. And probably won't happen every day. But here's the thing, the more that we practice, right? The more that we practice this idea of Sabbath, the more that we practice unforced rhythms of grace, the more we become it. Because hear me when I say this shift, you are what you repeat, right? You are what you repeat. If you want to be angry and on edge and afraid, then do the things that everybody's doing in our culture. Then watch all of the infotainment talking heads that just spew their, I won't say lies, but their skewed views, right? Because all of these news channels, they're businesses. They're catering. It's a business. They're not telling you the unfiltered truth. They're telling you their version of truth because they know their audiences. So if you want to continue to live in your little echo chambers, then do what everybody else is doing, right? Watch Fox News first thing in the morning, right? Watch CNN first thing in the morning. Watch MSNBC first thing in the morning, and allow them to influence and disciple you. Or you could start your day differently. Or you could do things differently and learn how to live in that Sabbath, live in that unforced rhythms of grace. If you want what everybody else has, then just do what everybody else does. But if you want to live life differently, then start repeating different things. Start your day, start your rhythms with a new mindfulness and not just the same old. But here's the really important part. This is what we're getting to. Like, what and how are great. But for me, I need to know the why. I hate tasks, right? I hate doing things, but if I know the why, if I buy into the why of them, then they become important. So why is Sabbath so important? Why is this idea of rest so important? Now, I believe that God built Sabbath into the natural rhythms of the universe because we wrestle with the world 5 to 6 days a week, every week, right? That's just the natural rhythm of who we are. Even Saturdays have become this thing where there's constantly motion. There's constantly things to be done. And it's outside of punching the clock, but it's still part of punching the clock. And we wrestle with our world 6 days a week. And to the larger world around us, we are what we produce. Our worth is measured in what we can produce. But Sabbath reminds us of who we actually are. We're loved not because of what we make, not because of what we produce, but because we exist. God created Sabbath because he loves us. End of sentence. And God created us to love us. We've talked about God being love, that God is love looking for expression. And so God creates Sabbath to remind us of that. It's in our natural rhythm as a way to just stop and be reminded that we aren't what we make, we aren't what we produce, that we are loved not because of something that we can do or offer, but because we breathe, simply because we exist, simply because we are. Sabbath rest brings us into the presence of that holy, expected waiting, of that sacred rhythm. That's the why. The why is rhythm. It's all about that rhythm. Life, health, physics, strength, art, beauty, devotion, worship, they all require rhythm. And dysrhythm is disease. It's a disease of the body, of the soul, the mind, the spirit. It's a disease of our culture. The etymology of rhythm is the German word Rhyme, which means to flow. Rhythm makes life flow, and Jesus flows with rhythm. Jesus restores rhythm. And so our prayer for you this morning is knowing like what, right? Knowing how, and then knowing why. And so my prayer for you this morning is to begin to learn to live in that unforced rhythm of grace, to begin to learn Sabbath, for Jesus to teach us to Sabbath, to rest, to wait expectantly, and not just on one particular day, at least one particular day, but being able to enter into that every single day. And so, we recognize that you're going to be streaming this from different places. And so we want to invite you into a moment of beginning to practice that if you can. All right. So we're going to end the stream a little differently than we normally do. And we're going to end it with a 5-minute meditation. All right. I chose what is restful for me. It is heaven on earth to me. It is the beach. All right. So we're going to have a 5-minute video at the end of this. That's just the sounds of the ocean. It's just a wave coming in and coming out. And I want you, if you're able to take a moment to take the next few minutes to just breathe, to feel your body doing the things that God designed it to do. If you do this with your family, great. But if this isn't an appropriate time, then come back to it. And I want you to center yourself around this holy rhythm and pay attention to the miracle of life that is happening within you in this moment, and that is happening all around you, all right? Just shut out everything else and experience God in these next few moments wherever you are.